Welcome back to the Vashi Capello Show on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
I am Tamara Cherry, filling in for Vashi Capellos, who is covering the Liberal cabinet retreat in Halifax today. Two big announcements from our Prime Minister as he stepped away from the retreat and in front of reporters this morning. One suggesting a potentially significant policy reversal on immigration. We'll be talking about that coming up on the Daily Debrief. And the other, perhaps not as surprising, on electric vehicles.
But actors like China have chosen to give themselves an unfair advantage in the global marketplace, compromising the security of our critical industries and displacing dedicated Canadian autos and metal workers. Shortly, we will be introducing a 100% tariff on Chinese-made electric vehicles and a 25% tariff on Chinese steel and aluminum.
Well, joining me now to walk through his reaction to this morning's announcement is Flavio Volpe, president of the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association. Mr. Volpe, welcome back to the Vashi Capellos Show.
Thanks for having me back on for this.
All right. So first, your reaction to the Prime Minister's announcement today.
Well, we've been working with the government since last October on understanding the Chinese threat first. What are the fundamental dynamics behind it? How do they get to the point where they've got these vehicles for so cheap? And then I spent the last 3 to 6 months working on what to do about it. So very happy to see that Canada has pushed back very firmly against this Chinese oversupply and this desire to buy our market share. But also, I think it's also a very strong signal to Washington that we're going to do this together with our biggest trading partner.
All right. So Flavio Volpe, tell me more about what has been happening with conversations behind the scenes in recent months, because this wasn't so surprising. But has this always been inevitable, would you say, especially considering what our neighbors to the south and other allies have done on this front?
Well, look, let me say that what we first started doing was demonstrating the Chinese capability to make vehicles at 10 times the volume, up to 15 times the volume that we can make in Canada, twice as much as all of North America, and then start to explain that how they get these vehicles, which are very advanced, both in terms of the manufacturing processes, but the product itself. How do they get to the same vehicle at 1/3 to 1/2 lower price than North Americans or the Japanese or the Koreans and the Europeans? They subsidize everything. They centrally plan everything, except for subsidizing labor, which they still spend about $2 an hour. There's a famous strike case at a BYD plant just outside of Shanghai a month ago that the reporting was 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, $2 an hour. And we said, look, they have a different relationship with return on investment. They're not trying to sell profitable vehicles. They're trying to do what they did to our solar industry and our electronics industry, which is collapse the West's capability to compete. And for the last 6 months or so, we've been saying, look, the way that you do this is you buy some time with a tariff wall. You buy some time with tariffs on steel and aluminum, and you push them back. While all these major investments that Canada has made and also the U.S. has made in EV and battery production get a chance to bear fruit, and then meet them on a more even playing field. The Europeans got there, like you said, before we did, with a 38% surtax in the summer, and the Americans got there in the summer as well at 100%. I personally met with the White House twice on this. Our industry has been in front of Treasury, Economy, Energy, all the major departments to say, this is the actual line in the sand. If you don't compete now, the Chinese are so strong and so ready to flood our markets with cheaper subsidized products. We might as well give up the industry. And so, kudos to the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister. Kudos to the President and the Treasury Secretary. And frankly, I think we're looking at Mexico City now and saying, what's the third partner in the North American region going to do about this?
I'm Tamara Cherry in for Vashi Capellos, and I'm speaking with Flavio Volpe, president of the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association, about an announcement from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau in Halifax this morning that the Liberal government will be introducing a 100% tariff on Chinese-made electric vehicles and a 25% tariff on Chinese steel and aluminum. And Flavio, just to play the devil's advocate, because no doubt anybody who finds China's very notable track record on, deplorable track record on human rights, anybody that cares about that is going to be happy with this. But at the same time, our government is trying to get us towards zero emissions, and a lot of people have been really hit in the pocketbook when it comes to our economy lately. Chinese vehicles, I mean, even Elon Musk says that these Chinese EVs are good quality and they are a fraction of the price to many EVs here. Do you think that across Canada, most people are going to be happy with this? Or, do people care about those human rights violations at the end of the day?
Well, I think most Canadians care about it, especially when you bring it up with them and explain to them that, for example, when Canada arrested the CFO of Huawei on the request of Washington on an extradition request, that the Chinese went and arrested the two Michaels and threw them in jail and said, deal with it. That's two people. What they do to the Uyghurs and others is very, very important and 1,000 times bigger. More importantly here, I think you're talking about the greater debate that we're all in the middle of. Look, we've got to clean the fleet of vehicles that we make and sell in Canada, and we're doing that. These EV mandates are very aggressive. They say 100% EVs by 2035. We've argued, industry players, and we built an all-Canadian zero-emission vehicle prototype called Project Arrow to demonstrate that Canada has the technology to do it. We said, if you push too fast, you're just going to push consumers into the hands of the Chinese. The Chinese are only too happy to take them. Elon Musk saying the Chinese vehicles are good, he's right. The vehicles that we're importing from China, though, into Canada today, the only ones really are Tesla Model Ys. He's taking advantage of that loophole, and we have a federal incentive that gives $5,000 to the purchase of Elon Musk's cars made in China. So he doesn't come to this with clean hands. I think we need to revisit those mandates, and those are arbitrary timelines that we picked. We can move them to make sure that the Canadian consumers can buy products made in the U.S. and Canada and Europe and Japan and Korea from in jurisdictions where people actually pay people a living wage and play by the rules and are actual stewards of the environment. In China, they're going to sell us clean cars at the same time that they, in the last 18 months, have approved 218 gigawatts of coal-fired power. That's 8 or 9 times the total amount of power capacity in Ontario. They just approved it to be fired by coal while they make us electric cars.
There's definitely a certain irony there. I will agree with you on that for sure. All right. Flavio Volpe, president of the Automotive Parts Manufacturers Association. Thank you for your time today.